Here's how to solve any business or sales problem in 10 minutes or less. One of the biggest problems that roofing companies have and roofing salespeople is they solve the wrong problems. They see this happening, like I'm not closing enough deals, or I'm not getting enough inspections, or my accounts receivable is dragged out, homeowners aren't paying quick enough, and then they just try to implement solutions. But the problem is they're implementing the wrong solutions. In other words, they're taking Advil for a skin infection. It's the wrong pill for the wrong symptom. But all of that can be cured when you follow this very simple process that I'll be teaching you right now. So whatever sales or business problem you're facing, this will be your new best friend and ally to identify the problem and get a quick solution that you know will work. I am so excited to bring this solution to you on how to solve any business or sales problem in 10 minutes or less. I've been applying it in my business. I've been using it with my friends in their personal life to help them work through the challenges they're facing. And I even used it live in front of a group of 30 roofing contractors at one of our recent RSRA events to help one of our members solve his cash flow problem. Literally, we solved it in 10 minutes or less because customers weren't paying fast enough. My name is Adam Bensman. Welcome back. You'll be seeing a big change in the content I'm producing here on my YouTube channel and inside RSRA. And that is to help roofing companies adapt and dominate in today's fast-changing and unpredictable times. Now let's get started. Roofing sales is personal development in disguise, and the reward for growth is life-changing. I hope my content helps you create a richer life and bank account. Okay, I'm going to teach you this framework of how you can solve any business or sales problem in 5 steps or less. For this particular example, I am going to use the exact problem we helped one of our members solve, and that is customers not paying fast enough. So let's begin and let the framework begin. Step 1 is to identify the problem. Now, what's really important is that you don't get emotion mixed in or your theories. You just need to objectively label the problem. So let's say you're not getting paid fast enough. The problem is very simple. Customers aren't paying fast enough. Don't get in your head, well, they're not paying fast enough because the economy is depressed and blah, 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 and people don't. That's not the problem. The problem is objective. They're not paying fast enough. Okay, so step number 2 is the hypothesis or hypotheses. Let's bust out some science from our high school days, shall we? The hypothesis is our prediction of why that is happening. So, for example, the hypothesis for why customers are not paying fast enough. Number 1, we don't have a policy in place. Number 2, we are too nice and we don't enforce people paying. Number 3, we don't have a system or procedure in place. Number 4, homeowners are starting to spend that money on other things. And then we can go on and on and on what is the hypothesis. In other words, why do we think homeowners aren't paying fast enough? Okay. Now, after we identify the hypothesis, we can move on to step number 3, which is outlining the solutions. I want you to outline as many as humanly possible. So for this example, what we did is we identified, since homeowners weren't paying fast enough, there was a lot of solutions going from memory, because we did this all on a whiteboard, and I'm going to list a few of those out. Well, solution number 1 would be to enforce a policy on payment terms. Number 2 was going to be to update the contract that states those payment terms and late penalties. Number 3 was to have the inside support team, or AR team, pursue these payments. Number 4 was to get the production team to collect the draw. This was a retail company, by the way, on the day that the project started. So it was a third down that they were doing, and then a third when the build started, and a third upon completion. The problem is they weren't really reliably collecting payments on the draw on number 2. So said, hey, well, we'll just collect payment right on the spot when homeowners are getting the material dropped off, and we will not start the build until then, okay? And then number 5 was offering a prepay discount. Hey, pay early, save money. That's just an example, okay? So we laid out all of these different scenarios. Then the next step is step number 4, the probability. This we look at as a probability test in a percentage. Let's give you a few examples here. So let's say the problem, again, is homeowners aren't paying fast enough. So what we need to do is get them to pay quicker. And if we make our production person collect payment before the install even begins, what is the probability from 0 to 100 that it will solve that problem? So I just want you to guess. What do you think that would be? Yeah, pretty high, right? Probably like 90 to, I would say, nearly 100%. One fix right away, we've identified 100%. If we don't start production until that money is collected, problem solved. Number two, having a policy that we communicate. Hey, we don't start the project until our draw, payment 2, is collected, okay? Number three, encouraging folks to have a prepay discount. So of course, that solves for the second deposit, but people paying at the end say, hey, payment needs to be collected within 14 days. So one of the other solutions was collecting final payment when they do the final walkthrough and offering a prepay incentive. Imagine like get $250 off by paying within 14 days. People are going to pay their bill because they want to save $250. So we identified the probability of 1, solving for the first payment, collected early, 100%. 2, having a policy, we agreed about 70%. 3, the requiring the team during the final walkthrough to collect final payment by pairing on a prepay penalty. Like we added all this up. We're like, okay, 100% solved for the first or the second draw, and then nearly 100% when all these solutions were combined for the third. Okay? We just literally solved the problem, but not quite yet. There's one more step, and that is the threats. So with any plan, there's fallout, there's consequences, there's an impact, and you need to look at those. So we looked at them. So what could happen if we implement a system? Remember, we're just going to simplify right here. The system is we collect the deposit when material is delivered before we start install, and then we are going to collect the final payment upon the final walkthrough and offer an incentive to prepay. Combined, we believe that was about a 90% chance of solving the payment issues on the tail end, and the first solution was 100% on the front end. Now, with those in place, what are the consequences? And the only consequences were upsetting people. But if those people were upset, we learned before we did the roof and we were in too deep. So it really doesn't matter. But there are threats that you will have to identify. And when you run through this framework, by the way, this company had been dealing with this problem for a long time. And what we were able to do by using this framework of identify the problem, outline your hypothesis, propose your solutions, run a probability test predicting the probability of that solution solving the problem, either independently or collectively with others, and then identifying the threats. In 10 minutes or less, he had a plan to implement to solve the cash flow problem of homeowners dragging their feet and not paying. And you can use this process to identify any business problem you'll ever face.